Okay, so I'm sitting here roasting in my car, and I've been thinking about something. I've been thinking about it off and on for a while now, actually, but I was thinking about it more this morning. A lot of times we talk about strong-willed kids. We also talk about strong-willed adults, right? Oh, they're just so strong-willed. My kid is so strong-willed. You can't get them to do anything. You can't get them to follow through on anything. Whatever it is. My ex is strong-willed. My child is strong-willed. And we talk about this strong-willed thing like it's... I remember even like Focus on the Family having books about the strong-willed child and how to... I think it's Focus on the Family. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me. But yeah, I know that there are books out there like The Strong-Willed Child, How to Deal with Your Strong-Willed Child. And then the same with adults. Like we think of people who are really impulsive and who are rash and who are really forceful as strong-willed people, right? And I think we have that inside out. Because real strength is not brutality. Real strength is not impulsive rashness. Real strength comes with self-control. The strongest person is the person who can face a rough situation, face a painful situation, face an antagonizing situation, and control themselves, and can actually maintain calm or clear thinking. That takes strength. Now, I was recently talking to someone who was talking about how their spouse was saying, "Oh, I've got to be a strong man. I can't be gentle and patient. That's not strength. I need to be strong." But here's the thing. Self-mastery takes incredible strength. Any old wimp can just explode at the drop of a hat. Anyone can snap back. Anyone can antagonize and poke at a situation. That doesn't take strength. That just takes selfishness. That doesn't take self-discipline. That doesn't take self-mastery. That doesn't take the radical commitment to self-regulation. None of that requires the fruit of the Spirit. So when Galatians talks about developing the fruit of the Spirit for both men and women, it's describing these list of qualities that are actual strength, real, genuine strength. The strength of kindness, the strength of patience, the strength of self-control and self-discipline. That's real strength. So when you talk about someone who's just so strong-willed they can't get along with anyone, or so strong-willed they have to have everything their way, you're actually describing a very weak-willed person. You're describing someone who lacks self-discipline, patience, kindness, love, someone who lacks self-mastery and regulation. That is a weak-willed individual, not a strong-willed one, because a strong will is one who can tell themselves no and stick with it. Someone who can be self-sacrificial for the good of others and follow through. Someone who lays down their life like Christ does for the good of others, for the well-being of their family, for the well-being of their spouse, for the well-being of their mission. Someone who lives like Christ is someone who is strong-willed, determined to be a kind, loving, joyful, patient, faithful, self-disciplined, gentle individual like Jesus was. That's strength. That takes incredible surrender to develop that kind of strength. So when we're talking about someone who's just so strong-willed, they have to have everything their way. We're really getting it inside out. We're inverting the reality, because the truth is they're very, very weak-willed. We become strong-willed when we commit to living out and cultivating the fruits of the Spirit in honesty, even if it hurts, in self-mastery, in discipline, in kindness, in gentleness. That is where strength truly lies. So, if you're dealing with what you would classically call a strong-willed child or a strong-willed spouse, it can help to begin thinking of them not as strong-willed just because they're stubborn, but as weak-willed and lacking in the cultivated aspects of being able to discipline and master their own selfishness. If you look at it this way, then you can talk, as a parent, you can talk to your child and say, sweetheart, you are acting very weak-willed right now. You are letting your emotions, your passions, your selfishness overwhelm and control you. You are not mastering the things that are destroying you. Now, I'm not talking about squelching all emotions and not having feelings. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about selfish passion that rules others and impulsive rashness that runs over the well-being of others. So if you start talking to your children about, hey, let's be strong-willed. Let's learn and practice telling ourselves no. Now, you may have to say it 10,000 times to your kiddo, especially if you're dealing with hyperactivity or difficulty with focus or traumatic anxiety or any of these other things that can make it so much harder for kids to regulate themselves. But helping them to see themselves as needing to be more strong-willed is a positive way to frame it. I need to be more strong-willed. I have the capacity to be more strong-willed and to tell myself no instead of being weak-willed in this area. And that's a positive approach if you frame it that way, instead of, you don't need to be so strong-willed. You need to just, well, it turns into shaming really fast when we take that approach. It also can help us understand and reframe when we're dealing with an abusive spouse or an abusive family member or even someone at work or church or in friends. Because if they are lacking strength of will, strength of character, then they are very weak-willed and they need to develop empathy, self-control, the fruits of the Spirit. Now, I've actually just done a workshop on the fruits of the Spirit, actually showing not just the fruit of the Spirit, but how to recognize the fruit of an unholy spirit. What does it look like when someone is toxic and abusive because they are refusing to cultivate the fruit of the Spirit? I have a whole workshop, checklist, little ebook, 30-minute workshop video, all in the link in the description right here. Also, I wanted to let you know that I know so many of you have messaged me or left comments asking where to find all of Wild's support groups. We have our basic Live Wild support group for awareness, education. It's a public group, not a private group. And we have our Wild Trauma Mamas group, specifically for moms who are parenting through trauma. We have our Trauma Mamas Neurodivergent group for mamas who are parenting through trauma, but also have autism, ADHD, special health or mental needs, and neurodivergence in that mix. We also have Trauma Nanas, which is really new. It's not super big yet, but it is there for grandmothers who are possibly even healing from your own trauma, but are supporting your children and grandchildren who are going through painful situations. It's kind of a niche of its own. And we have a couple of super duper extra secret private groups for those who are specifically in crisis right now. They are all listed now on Wild's website. So you can go and you can look through the descriptions of each one and the joining requirements. You have to answer the entry questions and do all of that so we know you are the real deal and not some creeper troll person. We try to keep them as safe as possible. So you do have to tell us a little bit about yourself. But they're all there and listed, and I have that in the description of this video too. Anyway, yeah, I want to know your thoughts about strong-willed versus weak-willed, and does this help you approach your impulsive children or the issues that you see in some challenging relationships that you have? Drop me a comment, share it if you liked it and think it could help somebody else, post it in your groups or whatever else, and let me know what you think. I want to know. All right, I'm off for a coffee date, and I will talk to you again soon. Have a great weekend.